And here it is, the tragic death of the Spoony bum. um, I don't. Okay, the Spoony bum was a character who was always intended to be kind of a goofy joke, and people reacted with a lot of hostility. So I kind of treated him as kind of a piece of crap ever since. And nobody likes the Spoony bum, and so that was always the running joke. And so I had always pretty much planned he was going to be the guy who gets offed by Black Lantern Spoony, just because I wanted to build up the dread of this guy. He's actually like the only one of my villains who has any kind of real menace. Like, he's the only one who ever succeeds in his plans, you know what I mean? Like, Black Lantern Spoony for a while was actually a pretty good villain, if I thought so anyway. The scene where he's in the far plane summoning up Titus, and I call him Titus, by the way, not Titus, because fuck Titus. The scene I thought where he was in the far plane and he starts laughing maniacally, and it cuts to black during the laugh, that actually kind of gave me chills. I was like, I was actually very high on my own acting there. I was like, that was really like the best scene I've ever acted, and I'm not a very good actor, so that scene impressed me just because the look on my face was just fucking evil, man. I was really channeling something there. So I liked Black Lantern Spoony. I'm kind of sorry he's gone. He I can always bring him back anytime I want, but in terms of like storyline, he's basically gone. And actually, this review kind of marks the end, at least for a little while, of major storylines in the reviews. You know what I'm saying? There was kind of another, but there was also kind of a backlash against critics putting storylines in their reviews, and I heard you. Like, seriously, yeah, I thought some critics still do it. Like Linkara does a really good job with that, I think. But I can understand the frustration with a lot of people who want just want to click the video, watch the review. They don't want to kind of bog it down with, let's face it, my bad acting and kind of cheesy special effects. And so I do it for comedy value. I try to keep the comedy value very high with those sketches, to varying degrees of success. But I heard you guys. I was like, you're right. I shouldn't be spending, if I'm spending more than like 3 or 4 minutes in an episode with the kind of storyline, I'm probably kind of dragging it out too far. So this was really kind of the end of the major story arc driven episodes. And the other reason is because I get a few complaints that since my videos aren't necessarily posted in order, at least on the video list, I should do that, but the continuity is a little hard to follow. So some characters jump in it. If you're watching the videos out of order, and there's really no way to tell which ones are in order except from like posting dates, I guess, there's kind of no way to tell. So it might be a little confusing to people watching, like, oh wait, where did Black Lantern Spoony come from? I don't even know. I actually think Black Lantern Spoony came out of a crossover with Linkara. So if you didn't watch that, you're probably in the dust. But anyway, this review almost kind of drove me into a nervous breakdown. I was really nervous about getting this one finished for some reason. There was I think this was around the charity drive time, and I was really working hard to get this one done as soon as possible. And there was a lot of pressure on me to get this done well. So I wanted to do a really, really good job on this one, and so this one saw a ton of rewrites. And I kind of reached a crisis with the storyline, which is another reason why I've kind of cut storylines a lot from the latest reviews anyway. Where I couldn't figure out a way to finish this thing. Like, I knew the original... I'll just tell you what the original ending was. Fuck it, I'll just tell you. From the beginning, the ending was that we were going to have a big fight scene. Me and Black Lantern Spoony and Titus were going to get in this big fight scene. And I was going to get my ass kicked, and then Dr. Insano kind of runs in and throws the Son of Insano and knocks him out. And he's like, I got my deadliest weapon, and he pulls out his cell phone. And so Black Lantern Spoony goes, oh really? Like, who are you gonna call to save you now? And then the Ghostbusters come in. And so I was gonna call the Arizona Ghostbusters to kind of come in and do a spot where they come in and they bust Black Lantern Spoony, and it was really funny the way I wrote it. And I always loved the Ghostbusters. So what happened was I emailed the Arizona Ghostbusters, and I was like, I'm shooting a short film, and I would love to have you guys be a part of it. I'll drive you down, I'll cater. If there's anything you guys want, it's yours. And they wrote me back, and they said, we only really do charity events. Sorry. And I was like, that's cool. That if you want, seriously, charity event, name your charity. And I was like, I was even willing to throw down. I was willing to throw down quite a lot of money to get these guys in. It was that important to me. You know, I was like, seriously, if you guys have an appearance fee, I'll pay it. So I just wanted to get a number, you know, like just to hear what the number was. If they were like $10,000, I'd have been like, oh, geez, no. But if there was a number, this video might have been worth it, you know, to kind of get the Ghostbusters in and kind of get them to doing some stuff with me. And they're like, yeah, we're booked up. So I was like, fuck. So the Ghostbusters weren't coming. And I was like, oh, I was in a lot of trouble. So for a couple days, I started shopping around for my own Ghostbusters props. And somebody told me that Doug did a video where he had a proton pack that was kind of made of wood. And I was like, could I get that? And Brad's like, Doug's like, I keep calling him Brad. Doug was like, I think I threw it out. And I think he did. And I'm like, shit. So I started shopping on eBay for proton packs. And those are not cheap. Like any kind of authentic uniform and any kind of authentic looking proton pack is not cheap. And so it kind of got to the point where I was seriously considering throwing down like $600 for this stupid sketch. And I had to take a step back. And I was like, oh, you know what? This isn't worth it. Yeah. But the problem was, I had no idea how to get rid of Black Lantern Spoony at that point. So like this is really an example of the storyline kind of domineering what should be just kind of a one-and-done review. You know, doing Final Fantasy, getting out of Final Fantasy, and then all of a sudden this review had kind of all become about Black Lantern Spoony. And so I was like, fuck. How do I get rid of this guy? So I kind of went back to the Star Trek episode where Shatner, Kirk gets split into like his pussy half and his dark half, the aggressive half, and I kind of do this thing where we get, you know, I kind of grab him, we get beamed back together into one whole. And so that's the kind of the story there, where I got Link Hard to kind of do his little Starfleet cameo, and that was kind of cool. And in the end, I was very happy, but it took me a long time to get there. And it was kind of a soul-searching review, kind of like just kind of determining what I was doing with the storylines and what I was doing with the reviews in general. You know, how much I should focus on the storyline. And I still do storylines. I still do. But you'll notice it's kind of at the end of the review. It's not in the middle. Or if there's characters who kind of poke their head in, there's a meaning to it. You know, if Dr. Insano's there. Really the only storyline going on is the whole goddamn Avatar thing. Where there's the hyper time is breaking down and somebody's building a black gate. The Ultimate Warrior is like a Red Lantern and he's trying to bring the Guardian through to make the world into Destrucity. I don't know. That's kind of the storyline going on now, but it's kind of contained to the Ultima storyline, and you know, I really hope it's not intrusive, where it's very simple. Like, you know, Warrior comes in, he's building the Black Gate, and it's done. And that's not to say that people who do storylines in their videos are doing it badly. In fact, I think people who do that do it very well. But I'm trying to make the fans happy in this case, and so I'm trying to make myself happy, really, because the whole notion of the storylines was actually getting to be rather of a distraction to just kind of getting the videos done. And that's really what you're tuning in for, I think, is to watching me lose my mind over Final Fantasy, which I haven't talked about up to this point. So I will now, and I've actually kind of forgotten what this video is like. So I'm watching it for the first time in a long time. Actually, one thing, you know what it was? The reason I basically written the Ghostbusters into the script in ink. You know, I was like, they're gonna do this. I don't know why I thought that, or I do know why I thought that. I was like, you know, if I write them, they will come. And the reason I thought that was because I was at the Chicago Comic Convention. I think it was WizardCon or something like that, with Doug Walker, and I met the Chicago Ghostbusters, and they were like, "We're huge fans of your work, Spoony." I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah, dude, if you ever need us for anything, we're there. And they said that, or at least one guy who was with the Chicago Ghostbusters said that, because I was dressed up as Dr. Insano, and they're like, dude, you're funny. If you need us, write us in, and we'll do it. So that was another thing. I was actually considering shooting this in Chicago. I was like, get the Chicago Ghostbusters, let's do this shit. But I was like, the Chicago Ghostbusters were so friendly and so open, or at least they promised they would be. Like, and then I called the Arizona Ghostbusters, or I wrote the Arizona Ghostbusters, and they were like, no. I was like, fuck, no. I was so confident. Damn it. Obviously, if you can't tell, this was done around Christmas. Oh, actually, no, this wasn't the donation drive. This was a Christmas thing we were doing. Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to get this done by Christmas, and that was part of why I was so stressed. Talking about the game itself. Really, I pretty much said everything I wanted to say about this game in the video. I pretty much spewed my hatred for about the better part of an hour and a half on this one, so I really don't have that much more to add. Except, there is one thing I forgot. And I can't believe it. And really, you can't consider this review complete until you talk about this. It's a big hole. The sphere grid. I never talked about the sphere grid. And when I was writing this review, I was writing in the script, and the thought did cross my mind. I was like, should I talk about the sphere grid? And for some reason, in my own drug-addled mind, I was like, no, I talked about that before. I never talked about it before. Oh, that's very vaginal right there. Yeah. There's not much I can add to that. Yeah, but for some reason, I thought, for a certainty, I was like, I talked about the sphere grid already. Of course I did. I didn't. I never did. So, I don't know. I don't know if I should talk about it here, actually, without footage. It's a little weird. What to say? I actually thought about shooting, like, an appendix video where I'm like, I forgot, I should talk about this. I'll talk about it now. The sphere grid is useless. There's... Jesus Christ. Like, and they keep repeating their mistake with this shit. Like, I don't know what it is with Square Enix. Or Squaresoft. Whoever made this. Whoever makes the Final Fantasy games now. Square Enix. I don't know what it is about them that they have to make leveling their character so goddamn obtuse and hard. I just don't. Rock to death. And it's symptomatic with the sphere grid, where you've got this thing where you got this huge map, okay, and it's got this weird little artsy drawing on it, and you've got these little nodes, and you have to collect orbs, and you have to light up the nodes, and when you light up the nodes, you get little powers. But here's the thing. There's no choice. The way the sphere grid is designed, it looks like you have a choice, with all the little twists and turns it makes and the little nodes on the way, like I'm really doing something. I'm active in the generation and customization of my character. But here's the thing. You're not. You don't have any choices at all with the sphere grid. You're just following this little design. You're basically tracing, you know, like there's no input from you. You have to light up every sphere on the way, on the map, with no choices, no input, no customization at all. It might as well just be a straight line. The only choices that you ever get are when you can use the key spheres and break into other characters' grids. Which I can see why they thought that was a really good idea. But it doesn't work. Here's why. Let's just say that I'm playing Lulu. And I'm leveling up Lulu, and I get the opportunity. I think one of the earliest opportunities you can get is to break into Titus's sphere grid. It's either Yuna or Lulu who can break into Titus's sphere grid. But here's the thing: you would never want to do that. Like, never. Okay, here's what you got these spheres. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna level up Yuna to her intended class and get the highest level spells that Yuna can get, like Holy, you know, Full Life, all those spells that Yuna can get if you spent your efforts on that? Or are you going to spend the same number of spheres, break into Titus's grid, and teach Yuna the steal move, or cheer, you know? Are you really going to do that? Are you really going to forsake the high level magics for Yuna to get Titus's shitty first level, you know, early level shit? You're not! At all. Ever. The only character where you would ever want to cross over into another character's sphere grid is Kimahri, because Kimahri's grid is in the center. And you could conceivably do something clever with Kimahri. But here's the thing, I never fucking used Kimahri. Ever. So the sphere grid, entirely pointless. That's really all I gotta say about this fucking sphere grid. But it's still, like, even Final Fantasy fans, I think, even fans of 10... are like, I like 10, but that sphere grid is kind of pointless. but it never got any better. Even Final Fantasy XII, which I liked, had the license board, and nobody fucking liked the license board. Why? Because the weapons are essentially interchangeable, so it doesn't really matter what you focus on, as long as you focus on one thing. That's it. Goodbye. Final Fantasy XIII was where this really reaches a ridiculous extreme with the Crystarium. The Crystarium is bullshit, okay? And I know I'm not talking about Final Fantasy X anymore, but fuck it. The Crystarium, like I said, it might as well just be a straight line. You've got this whole illusion of depth and choice and options where you've got this whole thing that goes in a spiral and there's all these little nodes on the way, but you have to fill in every one on the way. There's no choice. Even when it branches, the branch only goes for like 2 nodes, and you're pretty much going to get those anyway. It might as well just be a straight line with a bunch of points on it. And if you're going to do that, if you're not going to give me any choice on where to spend my points, why would you even give me input? Just have me level up and give me the fucking level. Give me the spells. What the it makes no sense. And so we fall into the same trap with Final Fantasy XIII. When the game finally opens up, I was like, first you complain like, oh, these characters are restricted in the number of classes they get, and the people go, that's not true. When the game opens up, any character can be any class. But you're not going to do that, are you? Why would you? Are you really going to take Hope, who's basically a spellcasting class? Are you going to spend the points you would normally spend on Hope's higher level spellcasting and like Saboteur classes, but spend those instead on Hope getting the Commando ability? Are you going to spend that and get Hope with the Berserker, whatever the fighting class is? No, of course not, because Hope sucks. Hope sucks as a fighter class. You're never going to level up as a fighter class. So it's cool that it gives you the option, I guess, but it's pointless. People still ask me if I like they're like, do you really hate this game? Yes! I hate this game. I hate it so bad. I don't know why you would think. Maybe it's because I make fun of it or something like that. Like, maybe I'm just I'm goofing on it because I like it secretly. I really don't. But here's the problem. And I actually get a lot of angry emails from people who I think don't understand. And thinking about it, I guess I do understand why. Because you like this game doesn't mean I don't like you. In fact, I don't care that you like this game. And I know, just when I think about this, I'm raising the memory in my mind of me actually being so horrified at something that happens in this game where I say, there are people who like this game, kill them all. Okay, first off, I was not serious. Okay, I don't want people to die in the name of this. Yeah, I'm goofing. It's the whole characterization I do on camera is an exaggeration, and so my reaction to that is just pure horror. And really, seriously, I said Final Fantasy VIII sucks and you suck for liking it. I'm goofing. Goddamn, you guys. You guys gotta chill. No, I really don't think you guys suck for liking it. The character I put on camera is an exaggeration of my own personality to an extent where, I guess it's hard to tell sometimes because I'm so... I use my same name, and I use, I don't dress or act differently on Vlog. So I guess it's kind of hard to explain when, like, when they see Spoony talking, like, kill these people, kill them all. They're like, Spoony really does think we should kill fans of Final Fantasy X. He really does think we suck. I don't really think that. I guess I should do a little better and try to differentiate, real me from camera me. You know what I mean? Kind of goofy Spoony from real Spoony. This is from Independence Day. I love this scene where everyone's just all gung-ho. So, I love that salute. Just snap that salute. Anyway. There's a Santino trombone march. Yes. I had to work that in there. So I really don't think you guys suck for liking it. Where it comes down to is... I actually kind of got into a minor argument with Angry Joe over Mortal Kombat recently. And not really an argument, but... it really does highlight the fact there are many different types of gamers. And I think in a way that Final Fantasy X, or not Final Fantasy X, JRPGs in general, Japanese RPGs, do not, by and large, appeal to me. They're just, a lot of the stuff I complain about with the ditzy characters, the goofy characterization, the silly plot elements, the stuff I bitch about, all that stuff is very iconic, ironically, of JRPGs. And this really is, if you're a big fan of that, this is probably one of the best examples of a JRPG. You've got the limited, you got the demure female characters, you've got the furries, you got this shit going on. And if you're a JRPG fan, you love this shit. And this is really iconic of Final Fantasy, which Final Fantasy is, of course, a major JRPG cornerstone. You know, it really is. If nothing else, it is predominantly a JRPG thing, and it's very true to that style. So that's really the difference. Is I pretty much despise JRPGs for the exact same reasons that many people love it. You know what I mean? So if you're trying to understand where I'm coming from, I understand where you guys are coming from. I really do. So, you know, my perspective as a guy who's really just kind of perplexed by the weirdness of kind of the Japanese storytelling, you know, this kind of storyline where kids always have to save the world, kids always pilot giant mechs. That stuff really frustrates me. But at the same time, a lot of fans are like, that's what makes JRPGs great. Believe me, I'm with you guys. Seriously, like, you know, you rock that freak flag. It's just not for me. So, kind of when I bitch about Final Fantasy X, this is really just my inability to understand what you guys see in JRPGs, if that makes sense. Now, I think if you try to dissect these plot lines from a rational standpoint and you're not able to suspend that disbelief and kind of get into that mode, that JRPG mode, you're not going to like this game. And so that's me, is I am just kind of hardwired neurotically to nitpick stuff like this. I have this thing called logic, and it hurts my mind. It hurts my logic to think about stuff like this. Before I close, I would like to talk about... I still have no idea. Even if you're a fan of Final Fantasy X, this is... Oh my god. Oh no. Oh lord, that is horrible. Oh, that little tuft of chest hair, that is embarrassing. It's actually very hard to look at. Okay, that costume I ordered from a costumer in China. And I actually ordered a size too large, and it's way too small. Those suspenders barely fit. You can actually see my package exquisitely framed in those suspenders if you care to look. This is horrible. This is not very good. Just kill him quickly, please. Kill him. Kill him now. I can't even talk about this. I actually bought a volleyball to do that with. I had to buy a pump as well. I had to buy something that looked like a blitzball. The body double here is my brother, and you can see in the shots where there's two of us. I had my brother wearing a mullet wig. And there's actually not many. This is stock footage. This is not actual blood sprayed in the camera. I used a lot of stock footage. But my brother filled in as the body double for all of these, and whenever you see the back of my head, it's really a mullet. He actually has very short hair. I broke my AK-47 in this shot. When I whip up my AK-47 and I grab it away and throw it on the ground, the AK-47 pretty much broke in half. Because it's made of plastic. It's very cheap. I had so much hair then, it was beautiful. Oh, well. I'm trying to think of any kind of difficulties I had shooting. I really don't have that many difficulties. This took a while to shoot because this was another reason why the storyline was kind of stressing me out, because when I wrote this script, there's like 4 of me running around. There was Titus, Black Lantern, there was me, and Dr. Insano. And so I was doing this thing where I had 4 characters all played by me in the same shot, and it was getting fucking ridiculous. You have any idea how long that would have taken to shoot if I tried to split screen or green screen myself into that? It was going to be nuts. And I had Pumpkinhead. I believe I am actually Pumpkinhead in this. I can't remember if it was me or Miles who was doing this. I bought this at a Spirit Halloween. There was a Pumpkinhead costume. Yeah, that's me. I recognize the day. You can actually see my shoes. Burton is just kind of impassively looking over there. But yeah, I was running into this problem where there was like 4 of me and Pumpkinhead kind of in the same shot, and I was like, I can't do this. So I had to whack Titus pretty much immediately in one of the ultimate anticlimaxes. I think pretty much everyone saw where this gag was going with the present. This is Looney Tunes to the extreme. I bought these fake flashbangs, and it's actually very hard to find fake flashbangs, believe it or not, because they have a very distinctive look. These are actually like gas grenades, but they had like flashbang written on them, and somehow they were airsoft. All my props are airsoft guns. And there was another reason I was stressing out, was because I got the grenades, but the grenades didn't have pins, and I wanted to do this bit where the pins were kind of dangling from a string attached to the top of the box, because that kind of it just sets up the joke. where he opens the box and pulls the pins out as he opens the box. And so I didn't have pins. I had to go to eBay and order like a ton of grenade pins, which again, surprisingly hard to find. Yeah, those were that was a hard shot to set up. Doot 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 boom. This kind of calls back. It's like poetry. It rhymes, you know. Where I jump out of the exploding room. Okay, anyway, what I was talking about with the Final Fantasy X thing, what I really don't know is how anyone can defend Yu Yevon at the end as a legitimate boss character. That game really ends with Jecht, the final Jecht fight. I have no idea how anyone can defend Yu Yevon as a... Even if you like the game, how you can defend him as any kind of memorable... He's memorable in the fact he's a fucking joke. I actually have heard defenses where, oh, he's supposed to be wretched and pathetic. He's supposed to be like a tick because he's basically an immortal parasite. You know, he's a completely mindless, animalistic being who has no will of his own, and without the Aeons, he's worthless. And I guess it makes sense, but a good boss that does not make. You could have resolved that in a cutscene, you know. I always wanted to do this bit where I have my own little blitzball and it's the son of Insano. Just where he gets whacked in the face. That wig is the Gordon Ramsay wig. It was the best thing I could come up with to match Titus's stupid hair. And that's the end of Final Fantasy X. I'm sorry if I didn't talk about the game all that much, although, like I said, I pretty much blew my load on this game just in terms of the review. I pretty much tore this just about as... I tore this apart just about as thoroughly as it was ever going to get. Oh, Bennett the Sage. I should special thanks to Bennett the Sage for getting the footage for me. I actually took a fair amount of heat for Bennett getting the footage for me. They're like, you didn't really play this game. This is bullshit. How can you review the game if you didn't play the game? I played this game, dude. I played this game twice, all the way through. What Bennett did for me was get the footage again because I didn't feel like playing it a third time. Okay, that was really the only story there. Was like I finished that fucking game twice back in the day because when I was a kid, I played it one time and I was like, that was dumb. I'll do it again because I was bored. I had a lot more time on my hands back then. Oh, the cheeseburger in paradise thing. I love that bit. Where they're like, let's play Jecht's favorite song, and I actually had like a top 10 list of songs we could play over the radio, for Jecht, and I limited to 2, and 2 was even probably too many, but I just loved having Jimmy Buffett come out there like that. That was really cool. Anyway, thank you so much for watching the Final Fantasy X review. I don't hate you, and you don't suck for liking it. Special thanks to Linkar for shooting this bit. He's a big collector of Star Trek uniforms. I actually got to wear in a crossover his Star Trek II era uniform, which was actually very cool. I'm actually very envious of his Star Trek collectibles because I'm a fan as well. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you again with Final Fantasy X-2, which is coming, I promise.